Have you ever just stopped and really thought about what happens when you take a breath? It's this incredible journey that starts with the air all around us and ends deep inside every single cell in your body. So today, we're going to follow the path of one single breath and really understand the amazing machine that is our respiratory system.
Think about it. That's more than 20,000 breaths every single day. 20,000 times that air enters your body. But what's its mission? Where does it actually go? In this explainer, we are going to follow that journey step by step to see how breathing really works.
So our journey kicks off right here, at what I call the air preparation station. See, the air we breathe isn't quite ready for our lungs just yet. It's got to be cleaned, warmed up, and humidified first. And all of that crucial work happens right up here, in our upper respiratory tract.
First stop is your nasal cavity. And believe me, it is so much more than just a passageway for air. It's like your body's built-in climate control and air filtration system all in one. You have these tiny hairs and a layer of mucus that literally trap dust and germs, while all the blood vessels in there warm the air to the perfect body temperature. It's just this incredibly efficient system to protect your lungs.
But here's where it gets really cool. This entry point has a secret double-agent role. Tucked away at the very top of the nasal cavity are your olfactory nerves. Yep, that's your sense of smell. So with every single breath you take, you're not just breathing, you're also sampling the world around you, detecting everything from fresh coffee to the warning smell of smoke.
Okay, so from the nasal cavity, that clean, warm air moves into the pharynx, which you and I just call the throat. And this is a really fascinating piece of anatomy because it's basically a shared highway. It's a crossroads where the path for air meets the path for food. And this just perfectly shows the pharynx's dual role. You've got air coming down from your nose, heading to the lungs, and at the same time, you've got food and drink coming from your mouth, heading to the stomach. So how on earth does the body manage all this traffic and make sure nothing goes down the wrong pipe?
Well, the answer lies with this brilliant little gatekeeper, the larynx, or as most of us know it, the voice box. Its most important job is actually traffic control. When you swallow, this little flap of tissue called the epiglottis snaps shut over the airway, acting like a lid. This is what makes sure your food goes down the right tube, the esophagus, and not into your lungs.
So, to sum it up, the larynx is a real triple threat. It protects your airway from food, it keeps a clear passage for air, and it holds your vocal cords, which is how we speak. Without it, we couldn't safely eat, breathe, or talk. Pretty important stuff. All right, we've made it past the gatekeeper. Our breath now enters the main highway to the lungs. This next leg of the journey takes us down the windpipe and deep into the chest.
And this highway is called the trachea. It's a pretty flexible tube, which is great for movement, but it's also incredibly strong. It has to stay open no matter what so air can get through. And its strength comes from a really clever design. It's reinforced by about 15 to 20 C-shaped rings of cartilage. This C shape is genius. The hard, curved part provides all the support it needs to keep from collapsing, while the open part of the C at the back lets your esophagus expand when you swallow a big bite of food. It's just a perfect example of smart, efficient biological engineering. Now, down at the bottom of the trachea, our single highway splits. This is the beginning of what we call the bronchial tree. And it's called a tree for a good reason. It just branches out over and over and over again, creating smaller and smaller paths to get air to every single part of the lungs. Let's just trace this network for a second. The trachea is the main trunk. Then it splits into two big branches, the main bronchi, one for each lung. Those then split into smaller bronchi, which keep dividing into thousands of even tinier tubes called bronchioles. These are the very last little airways before we get to our final destination. So, after traveling down this incredible branching maze of tubes, our breath finally arrives. We're at the lungs. This is the heart of the entire respiratory system, and this is where the real magic is about to happen. So the lungs are these amazing, spongy organs that pretty much fill up your chest, and they sit on either side of your heart, kind of protecting it. But they aren't just empty bags. Their whole complex structure is designed for one single mission, getting that life-giving oxygen from the air into our blood. And now, we've reached the climax of the journey. This is it. This is where the whole mission of that single breath is finally fulfilled. We are at the site of the great gas exchange. At the very end of those tiniest little bronchioles, we find these things, the alveoli. They're these microscopic, balloon-like air sacs. People often say they look like tiny clusters of grapes. And right here, this is where all the action happens. Okay, get ready for this number, because it's wild. Each of us has between 300 and 400 million of these tiny alveoli. And if you could somehow flatten them all out, their total surface area would be about the size of a tennis court. All of that is packed inside your chest, and it's all designed for one thing: maximum efficiency. So here's how it works. The walls of these alveoli are unbelievably thin. We're talking just 1 cell thick. The oxygen you just breathed in easily passes across that barrier into tiny blood vessels. And at the exact same moment, carbon dioxide, which is the waste product from your cells, travels from the blood back into the alveoli to be breathed out. It is a silent, perfect, life-sustaining swap.
Okay, so we've seen the entire path, but what's actually powering this whole thing? What makes the air move in and out in the first place? Let's take a look at the engine of breathing.
Well, before we get to the engine, we got to look at its housing. The lungs are wrapped in this slippery, 2-layered membrane called the pleura. There's a little bit of fluid between the layers that acts just like oil in an engine, letting the lungs glide smoothly with zero friction as they expand and shrink thousands of times a day. And here it is, the star of the show, the diaphragm. This is a huge dome-shaped muscle that sits right at the base of your lungs, and it is the primary muscle that drives your breathing.
The way it works is just beautifully simple. To breathe in, the diaphragm contracts and pulls downward, kind of like a piston. This makes your chest cavity bigger, creating a vacuum that pulls air right into your lungs. And breathing out? That's even easier. The diaphragm just relaxes. It moves back up, the chest cavity gets smaller, and the air is gently pushed out. It's this powerful, elegant mechanical process that you never even have to think about.
So, from a simple inhale all the way to a complex gas exchange deep within our cells, the journey of a single breath is, well, it's truly remarkable. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If just one breath is this complex, what other incredible systems are working away inside you right now? Thanks for coming along on the journey today.